It is the 30th of April, 1938. In the north, our troops are in positions to repel a potential Finnish aggression, but we have significant issues with supply lines. Even with truck transports, there are big gaps in these lines that cannot easily be fixed. So we will eventually need to invest into this supply network. For now, the divisions will just have to make do. In the meantime, Stalin's paranoia is at 18%, but we have the centralization and discipline focus coming up, which is over here, which is going to reduce it by 20%. So that should it's a 30-day focus. We've got 10 days left, so that's going to finish and clear that out again. We are trying to execute yet another group of rightists and Trotskyists, but that actually has a cooldown, so we still need 95 days. So once that's finished, we can do a 70-day focus before we can kick that off. And I'm probably going to develop the Ural and then head towards the Academy of Sciences. But we don't currently have anything that we can use to reduce his paranoia further. So we're going to have to see how that looks like. We are still constructing industry like crazy. We have 92 civilian factories at this point. That means we could already get the 5-year plan, which gives us research bonuses for construction technology, but we're still too far away, so we don't really need that just yet. We're 170 days away, so we'll see when we can throw that in. Either we're throwing that in to get the construction tech research bonus, or we get this done towards the Academy of Sciences, which gives us an additional research slot, which is also something that we are... Actually, it isn't, no. Maybe this is not the one I want. No, this is the one I want too. Yes, it gives us a research slot. Sorry, I missed it. It's right there. Gain 1 research slot, yes. And plus 1% research speed, so that's also quite necessary. Yeah, we're still dealing with the political situation at home, but given the propensity of Stalin to shoot people, and a lot of the old guard are currently suffering from the cowed by Stalin trait, which reduces reinforce rate and all other kinds of things. We might need to start promoting some of our promising division commanders who have shown loyalty to the cause and to the party. So we do have 2 who have, in fight in Spain, have distinguished themselves. So we've got Lieutenant General Macari Milko, who is an armor officer at this point, who is going to receive the Order of the Red Banner for an additional 7.5% hit points, and awarded for the action in Burgos. Actually, we can see the details here. So he took part in the occupation of Burgos, former seat of the Spanish government, and for that he will receive the Order of the Red Banner. And we've also got Vladimir Raskov, who's commanding the Mountaineer Division, who has took part in the occupation of Zaragoza. Which has capitulated the anarchists, so he can get the Order of Kutuzov for an improved entrenchment, or I think the Battle Merit Medal, but I don't think I can award it just now. Because we just did one, so we'll have to wait. But he now has a medal, and we can eventually. No, we don't want to promote him just yet, but we can eventually. Promote these officers. If we look at, so we go back here. We can eventually promote these officers. See, he will get either infantry officer or engineer, and he will become armor officer if we promote him. But it'll reduce the veterancy of the division by quite a bit. So we can also leave them as qualified division commanders. But yeah, we might need to rank up some of our commanders here backfill positions that are less than ideally, that are currently less than ideally occupied. We've got a lot of divisions in training. We still need a lot of infantry equipment. We will eventually need to start constructing military factories, but right now we're still working on research. We're working on just generally the economy. So let's continue with that and see what else. Actually, did I start? Yes, so we are starting to build the LBSH, which is a prototype close air support plane, and we also started producing the A-20 medium tank, which is a prototype for the eventual T-34, and just to start building up some of the production efficiency. Okay, keeping an eye again. Okay, we can run an inspection in the Navy if we need to, so we probably keep 50 political power around. He's at 24% right now, but this is less than 10 days away. He's at 27%, which is unpleasant, but we are, because his weekly paranoia rises very quickly. It is possible we can forge satisfactory results, but we don't need to. Bulgaria approaches the German Reich. That is concerning. But we have completed centralization and discipline. In this time of uncertainty, the people look to the Politburo to stability and guidance. So that's completed. We can't. How far away are we? We can't get to that quite yet. We're 70 days away. So we could develop the Urals, but that's a 35-day focus, and we could do something like transporter flights potentially, or strengthen the mobilization plan, which will all eventually lead towards rehabilitation of military, which is something that we definitely need, because that'll improve our troops on the ground. Alternatively, there is, I believe, another the Leningrad Polytechnical Institute, which is another research slot, and the way we can get there, we need the PCDI, which is yet another thing that we need to do, or we could do the 5-year plan. That's a 70. These are all 70-day focuses. Okay. We'll do the Ural for now. His paranoia is at 10%, so we could forge satisfactory reports, which is going to reduce it by 20%, but it costs us 2% consumer factories. Alternatively, we can have another look at the Navy, and we can see if there is anything that we can root out to reduce his paranoia. Okay. Yep. In the meantime, everything else is kind of stable. We have 100 convoys by now, but I would like to have... no, we've got 200 convoys. We're currently using 100 for supply, but I'd like to boost that a little further before we start switching into naval production. And we can build like submarines or... Let's see, who is in need of troops? These are... here you can take these divisions. I do have some experience, and I was thinking of getting a... We do have... do we have an close air combat training? We do have an air combat training expert, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted someone who's giving me air experience, but I don't think... Chief of Air Force, maybe? We have an air reformer genius who would give us air experience. Unfortunately, he costs 200 political power, which I don't have right now. So we will just hold back on that. We could also get probably Kalinin as a popular figurehead for 15% stability, which is probably going to do more for us than anything else really at this stage. So we'll just keep going there. And more divisions. They can all go in here for now. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to check is do we need anything here just yet? Because we do have some experience. I'm holding back on purchasing the or researching the doctrines because okay, I can do that directly. I'm not sure what we would want here. We could use accomplished heritage, which would I think not give us the penalty if we promote the field officers. This might not, bayonet strength might not be bad as well. That's for cavalry. We could use professional officer corps just for reduced doctrine cost. And over here, there's a couple of good things we could take. We could get static warfare to eventually defend ourselves. We could get victory or death, which reduces the organization loss. Or we could use operational reserves. A fair bunch of things, but right now I don't really need any of these. We do have... we could use the branch independent spirit, which would continuously produce air experience. Although I would prefer industry liaisons for the research speed when it eventually gets there. This is our new pilots are not quite as bad as everybody else. Ace effectiveness, air power projection. Generally, I kind of like centralized control for the air mission efficiency. And yeah, well, our air force is generally in a bad shape anyway. So, well, I think we'll leave everything as is for now. We can, however, look at the naval, because we do have a fair amount of naval experience at this point. Let's see if there's anything that we are really interested in. Not really anything here. Integrated designers would make research faster, but we don't really need that either. This is all research based, and here we could inclement weather would probably be decent, or night fighting might work as well. But mostly we'll be I'm probably just gonna spend it on doctrines, to be honest. Anyway, let's keep an eye on Stalin's paranoia, because we're currently running we're running an industry focus, so we do need to be careful that it doesn't get above 25 for too long. So I am somewhat inclined to once again blame the Navy for things, because our propaganda just disappeared. So now we're already having increased consumer goods. So I'm sort of not inclined to run another safety another forged production report for 2% factory goods. However, okay, we're bringing this uses 3 civilian factories. In 15 days, the American experts are going to be arriving, which is going to improve our designer. We could run this. This is actually this is going to cost us political power, but it's going to improve. Which is going to improve, I think, Spain's research speed and communism support, which we can do later. It doesn't cost me; it's just an ongoing cost, and I need the political power right now. But I'm keen to see if we can add more foreign experts to the whole thing. He is gonna still be busy until January with assassinating Trotsky, but once we've made that happen, things will hopefully go for the better. And I am concerned about the paranoia, so that's what we're going to have to take a look at. Ural development is almost finished, but we're at 22%. I will already trigger another inspection in the Navy, which is going to give us 10%. 10% is not going to get us very far, however. So maybe we are going to take the hit, and yeah, we're probably going to take the hit and just forge the production reports. That's going to reset it to 0, or pretty much close to 0, and Stalin is happy. But of course, we now we lost a couple of extra factories due to our shenanigans here. But we are now gaining infrastructure and civilian factories in the Urals, and we can, however, let's have a look at how far away this is. This is 35 days away, so we could run a 35-day focus. This isn't going to help us. This would give us 50 political power. No, this is just we could create a Comintern, honestly. And I think I am inclined to actually, yeah, this will eventually lead to us talking to claims in the Baltic, which is something we want. But a couple of 35 days that we can do. Or we could just do the 70 days and go for the research slot. The problem is his paranoia again. I can still do the Navy, but then I'm relatively out. So I think I'm not going to go for another. I'm going to go for 35 days, and I think I'm going to do transpolar flights to start working on improving our Air Force, because that is just one of those things that's not very good, as we've seen in the war in Spain. That is pretty bad. So we will probably bunker a bit political power. Okay, we've lost the Spanish gold reserves, or we've used up the Spanish gold reserves. Oh, that's hurting us now with consumer goods here. Definitely hurting us. But we are building more factories. There we go. Okay, so that's done. So we can okay, so we can now specialize the Госпроектстрой. Okay, so that's another thing we can do. That will give us 5% consumer goods and civilian factory construction. Although we are going to start I think shipbuilding industry is not interesting. I think I'm going to do the specialization in military industry, because that's going to improve factory output and military factory construction speed, which is something we're going to be doing soon. However, it is still... how long is this going to take? 90 days. This 5% consumer goods pretty good as well. But civilian military factory and factory output plus 5%, I think is pretty good too. So I'm going to go with the military industry specialization. And that might actually have been a little early to do that, but we will see. Is there any propaganda we can do that helps? This will just give us material, which we don't need. Fuel gain, we don't need. And this is supply, which we don't need either. These will become more important. More concerned about paranoia at this point. But once transpolar flights is complete, then we can get on to the next round of shooting people who are problematic. We also still need to switch to extensive conscription, but it is quite expensive. We can do limited conscription first. We still have 500,000 men in reserves, so not a big problem at this point. But he's already back up to 17%. So I will probably have to do another inspection in the Navy. Once he... Okay, we've got 3 factories. More civilian factories. Let's build a bit more eastwards. Just because we unlocked some... I think we unlocked some infrastructure over there. So wherever we can, and that's already done. Yeah, let's build more civilian factories. That is important. How's our research coming along? 78 days. So once that transpolar flights, yeah, we're gonna need the research bonus relatively soon, but we're still in 1938, so it's gonna be quite a bit ahead of time. Okay, transponder flights is done, which means once the day ticks over, I should be able to begin the block of rights in Trotskyites. That's another 70-day focus. So that unfortunately is going to kick off another purge, but this will give political drift defense, which is great, but I don't need. 70 days, so off we go. Which means his paranoia is already at 20%. I'm already gonna kick off inspections in the Navy. And because that's gonna take a week. And that's gonna tick it down by another 10%. So hopefully that'll last us until the next purge. Okay, conspiracy in the academy. Actually, that decreases it by 20%. So let's wait for. Hold on. Let's wait for shooting people. Hold off with shooting people until we're back at 20%. How long? I can leave that for 11 days. So I can get another. I can probably get up to 19%, and then we can shoot some people. 4 days, 3 days. 2 days, yeah, we're 19%. So anti-Soviet military thinking shall be banned, and that puts it back to 0. And that's probably everything we can do right now. We do need a bit more infrastructure. How does it look in the north here? Because this, we can improve this a little bit and see if we can. Yeah, that keeps the factories busy, and then we can build. Then we can build some factories here in the north. Meanwhile, more and more troops are becoming available. So probably we want to get... How many do we need? 3. So 3 here. And that's a cavalry army right now. We'll deal with that in a later stage. We'll just throw some infantry into it for now. That one is 24 divisions. All of these divisions are green at this point. We've got some tank divisions here standing by in Leningrad, just in case the Finns have any funny ideas. Yeah, Zhukov, unfortunately. We're also going to need some better field marshals at some point, but I'm going to wait first and hold off until Stalin is done shooting people for now. So now we're back to 0. And we're working on this, which is a 70-day focus. But that hopefully, that's 50 days. That should be enough with the paranoia to not take us over. So let's get that completed. And then, okay, we have finished the armored trains, these things. The advantage of these things is that they have air attack. They shoot back at planes, which is great. We do, I think, need to start working on... So a couple of things we could do. This is still ahead of time. I am going to start... this is a 1941 text. So this is once the 1939 texts are done, and I'm going to grab the ahead of time bonuses. But for in the meantime, we can occupy ourselves with other things. This is still way too far ahead, but I think I'm going to start looking at range improvements because that's giving us things like drop tanks, which might help with our future fighter design quite a bit. And obviously we now need to switch our train production over from the FD class civilian train to the armored trains. So we'll start building up that again. And research is ongoing. Waiting for the block of rights and Trotskyites. The Fourth International has happened. They met in Paris, of all places, laying the groundwork for what has been known as the Fourth International. Cause for its formation have existed for years, with supporters of Trotsky's theory taking the lead. Stalin has responded to the growing support for Trotskyism abroad by ordering additional assassinations and increasing propaganda against his old rival. With the past purges of suspected Trotskyists in the high ranks of the Soviet military and leadership in recent memory, this is unlikely to be met with any resistance. Yeah. So Trotsky is organizing communism in France But once he returns to his villa, so yeah, violent era, definitely. But once he returns to his villa in a couple of months from his trip to France, we might have a little surprise for him. Does that make Stalin particularly more unhappy? No, it makes him. So the Politburo is already giving us a massive bonuses and all kinds of things. The Red Army is still dreadful. The Red Soviet Air Force is even worse. The 5-year plan is still in effect. We get to that. The anti-Soviet military thinking has been banned, which means the Navy is definitely not in favor. The shipyard staff has been purged. And we still have the Spanish Civil War commitments, but the Civil War is over, so that's no longer an issue. The politicized military is not great. The Trotskyite plot definitely isn't, but we are still the home of the revolution. So, again, keeping an eye on Stalin's paranoia. The next purge is coming up in 35 days after Trotsky's little stunt here. Munich Agreement. German demands for Sudeten territory in Czechoslovakia have intensified. Chamberlain decided, screw the Czechs, Germany, there you go. And Hungary has renounced the Treaty of Trianon and is now rearming. So a lot of alignment with Germany over here, which could become a problem going forward. Paranoia is at 9%. That is still within limits, and no one's getting shot. And the block of rights and Trotskyites is going to be executed as soon as we can. And then we are very close to construction 3, which is going to be further boosting our construction speed. Unfortunately, we have a lot of factories in consumer goods at this point. There's not an awful lot we can do about it until we get... oh, the high yield decision is back. Yeah, we're doing that. Another 180 days. I don't think I need the political power right now, and that reduces that again quite significantly. So we've got like 8 factories back, I think, almost. So 10 more days, and we're at 18%. Yep, we've timed that pretty well. So we don't go over the 25 and 21. And any moment now, there it is. That is complete. The third Moscow trial. Investigations before the second Moscow trial also revealed a large network of Trotskyists in the military and upper party leadership, led by Bukharin. These people have been arrested and interrogated, meaning tortured, where they have confessed to the most serious and heinous of crime, from planned sabotage to attempted assassination, conspiring with foreign powers and even mixing nails into butter to injure or kill regular Soviet citizens. The last one I had never heard of. If convicted, what we mean by if, when convicted, the penalty for these crimes will be death by shooting. So we are shooting Litvinov, who is a commissar, an economic reformer, another commissar, and Bukharin, Rykov, and Tomsky. And that, I believe, has eliminated the political paranoia system. So Stalin now no longer has the paranoia increase, which means Yagoda, I think, can we now? Yes, we can now. We can now also fire Yagoda, who is the head of the NKVD, who has been causing us so many issues with Stalin's paranoia previously, and is now currently causing us 5% stability. So stability loss. So we could get rid of him and replace him with, what do we have? He would be, yeah. I think we can remove him. This would give us an immediately 5% stability at the cost of some losses in intelligence. So I am going to do that because 5% stability is going to improve our it's going to improve our factory output and everything else. So now that we finally are rid of the paranoia system, we can start focusing our political power on something useful and actually start getting some people into positions here who we can not the Navy. Yeah, we're going to need some people here to assist with things. I would also probably gonna get Zhukov in as a theorist to reduce the cost for the. But we need to complete positive heroism first. So that's another branch that we're going to need to do. But for now that we've done that, the very next thing is going to be to get us a. Let's see, we're almost done. 4 days we're done with construction 3. So let's begin with the Academy of Sciences for an additional research slot. And we've got a couple more divisions. We'll just start another army here, and we'll get a general. We could. He's an armor leader. Do we have an infantry? Do we have an infantry guy? He's a trickster. He's good on defense. Yeah, why not? We could also get Kuznetsov, but he's not an infantry officer, unfortunately. We could also just get Vlasov back in for now. Yeah, let's get Vlasov back in for now. He can go and lead some infantry divisions here, newly created infantry divisions, and we'll do the Academy of Sciences, and then we're going down the 5-year plan. So let's see. Let's wait for the 4 days for this to complete. I just want to see how long it's going to take for the next one. So that's complete. If we were doing this now, this would take 585 days. So because we're 2 years ahead of time. So looking at here, we can get, where is it? If we do the third 5-year plan, gives us 2 75% research bonuses. Then after that, we can do this, which gives us 200% research bonuses. And this one gives us a 2-year ahead of time penalty and 100% research bonus. So I want to go down this path next. Basically, once we have the Academy of Sciences, I want to go down the 5-year plan. This and this, and then we will start these construction and factory output, such that we get ideally we get the construction one with 100% to half that, and then construction 5 with the 2-year ahead of time. 2-year ahead of time bonus by 1941 if we can ish. But yeah, we'll use these bonuses down here, which means for the meantime, that's ahead of time. I think radio detection is probably something that we need, so I'm going to get that out of the way already. But our construction speed is at 50% acceleration level by now. And our production cap is at our production efficiency cap is at 85%. So we are mass producing things. We're gonna need better artillery at some point as well. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, that's still ahead of time, but we'll keep up with these. Do I have a production line for anti-tank? I don't actually. I think I am going to ease off. Yeah, I'm going to start a production line not for artillery. We want what are these? These are probably something like 45 millimeter or something, anti-tank guns. So we throw these in under anti-air. We'll take two of anti-air and put them into anti-tank, such that we can slowly start building up a stockpile of these things. We've got 50 medium tanks already, and that's only 1 civilian factories. So we're still getting the BT7As out, but we're starting to build up the A20s, and we're starting to build up close air support planes. So once we have a sufficient amount, then things will happen there as well. And do we want to do that already? No, I don't really care about it. We've got a lot of resource prospecting that we can do. Probably improved worker conditions, but that's 5% consumer good factory, so that is quite expensive in terms of industrial output. But Stalin is now no longer paranoid after he has shot pretty much everybody, which also means that the people who he has not shot are probably still going to be around. So Voroshilov here, who we can give him the defensive doctrine already. And unfortunately, Budyonny here is our most senior field marshal. We may have to promote somebody because these field marshals are not very good. I think Zhukov is getting promoted somewhere there, but that's all future talk. Anyway, for now, that is the end of Stalin's paranoia, and that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.